Hey y'all, hey, it's your sugar here. Yeah, on a Wednesday, okay? I'm late tonight, okay? So it's supposed to be 7:30 on a Wednesday night, but you know my face gonna be in the place unless otherwise said, okay? It's Natalie Sugar Brown here for the Natalie Sugar Brown Show. And this is my platform where I speak and have conversation with you guys about the industry of women's boxing. I've been there. I done it. I'm a woman pugilist, okay, woman boxer. So I've been in the game, and this is my platform where I get here with you guys, so we can get here eye to eye, and I can tell you how to read between the lines and really share true insight and authentic experiences in my career of being a woman boxer, a female gladiator who's not MMA, but in the industry of women's boxing. Okay, you guys. And the thing about Sugar Show is this is where we have the conversations. Okay, this is where it's not about, oh, what the facts and schematics says. It's, let me know how you feel, what, who you like, who you're not liking, what interests you, what questions you want to ask. There's no right or wrong in our conversations, okay? Now, we will and always be respectful, okay? But we won't sugarcoat it here, okay? And that's what I appreciate about all of our conversations that we've had so far. So thank you guys for chiming in. Thank you for leaving your comments. Thank you for all your support so far, in keeping this platform alive. Uh, as I've said before, and no one, there's no longer the gym talk, right? Where, old school comes in and they're talking with the new school about the history and what happened in boxing, in our culture that is disappearing. So what we want to do is those of us who are still ingrained in the culture of it have brought it to a place where we can all come and share the internet, cyberspace. Okay, so our Scarf One chimes in and says, I'm here. I'm glad you're here too, right? Because you know that you're a big part of my conversation tonight, our Scarf One. Yeah, we're gonna review what you had to say about the uh, the the Women's Boxing Hall of Fame, and I read your article. Um, I have to say, you guys out there, I want you to Google this. Google this before I start sharing my images and start talking about, start really illustrating what what we're talking about. But y'all, if you can, um, our Scarf One's article is, and I found out your whole government, our Scarf One, Ron Scarfone. Let me know if I said it right. Is it Scarfone? Um, did a very, very thorough, well detailed article on his experience of how he made it and why he made it down to the women's phone. Okay, okay. So it's Scarfone. Got it. All right. So we in business. You already know. I always say it. Ruby Scott's granddaughter, she went passed down the gift to me of friggin' up your name. Okay, but I always say this because she was always like this. I mean it with all the love in the world, okay? And all the love and caring. I do mean to do right by you in in trying to say these names properly, but it's just that it's something in me just won't let it happen. But I mean well, okay? Now, Ron Scarfone wrote an article, um, and what intrigues me about you, Ron, is that you have quite a depth of knowledge of women's boxing. You were there. You were there when, and you mentioned that in your article, um, the first WIBF world champion reunites with the sacred strap. That's the title of Ron's article. If you guys can get on Google it now, or get on the web and look it up now, so we can talk about it, right? Because it's while you're reading, we can chat, we can talk. Um, I'm just waiting for my guys to get the show stuff together in the background, and then we can get started. But you're more than welcome to start, and we can definitely start the conversation. Tonight's show is titled "Who's on the Radar," and I always talk about the up and comers, and sugar don't take a broad seriously unless she go past the 10 mark. So there's one out here now that she's past the 10 mark, and I had to check her receipt, and I had to look at her footage, and you know what? I'm liking what I see. This one's adding some. This one's adding some more. Um, some more goodies in that pot that we got, on the heat. The heat is, that beef, that thing that makes us want to see each other get really bad, behave badly with the other gal. Okay, so um, there's one gal on my radar. There's one broad on my radar. I'm gonna talk about her tonight, and you guys let me know what y'all think about her. Um, um, I'm just seeing, just double checking, waiting for the green light from my guys, cause I'm ready to go right now. Y'all remember that song? Y'all don't remember? Y'all probably wouldn't remember that song. That was my song. That was my jam at one time. When I used to do my jump roping and all that stuff. Anyway, um, so I'll give you all the names so you can look her up now. Okay, her name is Gabriella Fundora. Okay, she's 21 years old. She's got a brother that boxes too. Her and her brother boxes. I ain't on here to talk about her brother. I'm telling you, on here talking about her. But she recently had a very impressive victory over a veteran out here, and I had to talk about. I watched it, and I had to talk about it um, tonight, because there are other names in that in that range of weight class, right? Because for us women, what happens with us is we don't fight one weight class specifically due to the fact that the opposition, the contenders, and just the money making opportunities, they don't come specifically in one area for us to say, oh, okay, I'm just staying here or hanging here. Sometimes you got to reach for high fruit. Sometimes you got to reach for low fruit, meaning that, you may have to go up a couple pounds. You may have to suck down a couple pounds just to try to get opportunities out here. Just give me a moment, you guys. Excuse me, Mom. So, yeah, this young lady, Gabrielle Fondora, she rallies at flyweight, but she is 5'9", okay, and she has, because of her height, she has quite a good range to go up from. She could be, she's at flyweight. So you guys out there, what's flyweight? Let me look up and see what flyweight. What's flyweight? I should know it off dome, but you know what I'm saying. So many things in my mind right now. I got okay. So flyweight. 112 pounds. So this little broad is 5'9". Okay, 5'9", and she has a frame where she could easily I could see her easily fighting at 132, right up to 140 pounds comfortably. Okay, I could see that. Um, so with the way she operates in the ring and how they're moving her, it looks like she got some smart guys behind her. Um, she fought on a Golden Boy promotion. Now I don't know if she's being promoted by Golden Boy, you guys, but I mean that's where she's coming from. She's from the U.S. She's a U.S. fighter, but looks like her background is South American. So she's Mexican, and she's getting these name Mexican broads out of there. Okay. She's fought the likes of Mariana Barbie Juarez, and Barbie, that's my girl. She's a crone, okay, but she fought Mariana Juarez earlier in her career. Um, did she win? Yeah, she did win because she's doing. So Gabriela Fondora is 12-0. So I don't know if it was a no contest or she actually beat Barbie Juarez, but she's been in there with the likes of these of fighters like Barbie. She just beat Arlie Musino, which I I featured her partly on the show, on my show where I spoke about the top 10 baddies in each country in each region. So Arlie Musino is 32 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws. So that's a substantial amount of fights. I've looked at Arlie's receipt. Arlie's receipt checks out. She's fought some pretty good opposition. There's not many paddingment happening. So you know, Gabriella went in there with Arlie and stopped her. I think she stopped her in round 2. So I'm talking about you stopping a veteran like that. I had to watch the fight. When I saw that, let me tell you something. Styles make fights, okay? So Gabriella Fondora, her style, she's a boxer banger. Yeah. So like, these two styles coming together. She knows how to use her distance, rangy girl. She knows how to use the leverage on the distance of her punches. So she's rangy, meaning she has very long arms. She keeps you at the end of her punches. She knows how to use her feet and her movement to keep the distance. So she's being taught very well. Okay. Um, and what else can I say about what I've noticed? Um, she takes her time, right? So remember, it's 2 minutes. But rather than how I've seen these styles go, where it's more so glorified amateur, running through each other and windmilling, and you know what I'm seeing is she takes her time in establishing each part of her strategy. And then when she sets everything up, or after she sets her distance up, after she has you going in the direction she wants you moving, right? After she starts establishing the rhythm of how the fight's going to go, she starts to bang your ass out. And did I mention she's a southpaw? Okay. So add in, some more complication on top of that. A lot of these broads don't know how to box orthodox fighters. Orthodox is you got your left in front of you. Southpaw, you got your right in front of you. Okay? And so you got your right in front of you. That means you got a right hook and your left is your power. Now, when you're fighting an orthodox as a southpaw, or vice versa, if you're an orthodox fighting a southpaw, it's like you're fighting your mirror image. Okay? The jabs are going to line up, right? So your jab is not say, I'm facing you right now, I'm orthodox. Okay? So my jab is going to be coming to you on this side, right? You're standing in front of me. If you're an orthodox, your jab is coming from this side. Okay, so I'll know how to block it. I'll know how to rock back from it, take the edge off, give it distance. I'll, parry it. Now, when you've got a southpaw, right? So, say I'm standing orthodox now, and you are southpaw, right? So your right hand lead is facing my left hand lead. Okay? So when you jab, right, you're jabbing on the same line as my jab, right? So, I will parry it, same thing. But normally, when you're an orthodox fighter, you're moving to your left. You're moving to your left because what you want to do, right, is you want to always be lining your opponent up with your power, right? Because there's always an assumption that right hand is the power, the boom. This one sets it up, this one's the boom, which is not always the case, right? But basic knowledge of boxing now. This is what I'm sharing with you, right? So when you're fighting a southpaw, right? That person here, okay, this is their right hand. Their left is their power, okay? How can I put this without confusing everybody now? Okay, so the left hand is lined up with that right hand. If I'm if I'm fighting the southpaw now, I'm moving towards my left. The southpaw is moving towards their right. We're fighting for the position to land our boom. Okay, so I'm stepping to my left so I can line that southpaw person up with my right hand. That southpaw person is stepping to, right, their right because they want to line me up for their power left. Okay, if you can understand that. So there's a lot of footwork and positioning um, when it comes to fighting southpaws. Southpaws are, they call them lefties, right? Because their power hand is the left. Their power is coming from the left. The tricky thing about fighting a southpaw is that southpaw hook, right? Because now, when you're fighting someone who's orthodox, that hook is coming here, so you can always block it. You know, if you got a good guard, you're going to block it with your right hand guard. Boom, boom, right? Now, a lot of the time now, and especially now, how people are being taught behind that lazy lead left. So that left is going to hang low. That left is not going to be tight like how they used to teach it back in the day. Okay. Now, um, I'm gonna when you're fighting the southpaw, you're not only worrying about that straight left that you're fighting, right? You're fighting to get position from. You got to look out for that right hook, okay? And let me tell you something. That right hook will clip you, especially if they're good boxers, okay? Because you always, while you jabbing and everything like that, that right hook will come over a lazy jab when it's coming back low, okay? That right hook will clip you if the jab is coming out and you leave it out too long, right? So that's where fighting a southpaw can get tricky, okay? Especially, with us ladies, because we don't get, maybe over in Europe, because there's a lot of southpaws in Europe. So I'm not going to speak for everyone in that sense. Southpaws are more common in Europe, but over on the west side in the US and such, um southpaws are few and far in between. So when you're fighting a good southpaw, it you they can be trouble. They can be trouble. And if you're fighting a southpaw that has power in their lead, in their jab, in their right hand, then it could be it could be a long or a short night for you. Um, Y'all, I'm just, I'm giving some lip service because I'm waiting for my guys in the background to get my images up, So y'all be patient with me. Okay. All right. So it looks like we can get rolling now. Okay. So um whenever you ready, let's get the first image up, y'all. Let's get the first image up. All right, so this the broad I'm talking about right here, Gabrielle Fondora. Okay, she's on my radar. Um, she's 12 wins, 5 by KO. Okay, and I already told you the likes. She's fought the likes of Mariana Barbie Juarez, um, and Arlie Mancino. Okay, recently. Now, I'm just letting you know. This is how she looks. This is the face this is the new face coming up, and nobody came and told me anything. Nobody's paying me or whatever. I'm giving this little broad her due. Um, what I want to see now is her face, the likes of Estrada, right? Shanicia Estrada. I want to see her face the likes of Marla Esparza. I want to see her face the likes of who else is out there? Ebony, right? Because she can. She's in, in that range. She could go up, she could go down. Okay. She's 5'9". Like I said, she's rangy. She got some pop. Um, okay, so look who's chiming in. Women's Boxing Channel says, what did Baloo from the Jungle Book always say? Now, when you pick a paw, or a prickly pear, and you prick a raw paw, well, next time beware. Let me tell you something. You done, you done started, okay? Um, I never seen, I sorry, Baloo missed me because that's one movie I missed out on. I didn't see, but he sounded like he might know what he's talking about. I don't know where he put the pawpaw or the prickly pear, but look like he feeling around somewhere he ain't supposed to be feeling around, because sometimes the pawpaw, it this you want the pawpaw to be smooth, because the prickly pear means they ain't shaved, and you know what I'm saying. It ain't no fun with it when it ain't shaved. Let me stop. Let me stop. Um. Women's Boston Channel also says, don't pick the prickly pear by the paw when you pick a pear. Let me, okay. Y'all can finish that. But like I said, um, I, I keep my prickly, I keep my pear, smooth. I don't like when it get prickly. Um, it, it be all itchy, and so I keep it smooth. Michael Orr says she fights like her brother should, with that reach. Right, that's why I said Michael. Gabriella Fondora, she got a brother that fight, and he's tall too. He's very tall. It looked like he's like six, like in this, 6 feet or something like that, and over 6 feet, and he making down there at 147, just like how Paul Williams used to. Right? I came up with Paul um before he got in that accident, unfortunately. But Paul had that leverage. He had that country Bama strength. He had that country leverage. Came for you from that southern heat. Put that heat on it. But yeah. So when you've got height and you know how to use it as a fighter, whoo boy, I'm just saying. You are dangerous. And I see her as being, yeah, dangerous coming up through here. And I like it. I like her style. I like her IQ in there. I see things getting better and better, and it excites me. It really does. Um, Michael Orr says Baloo said it's about the bare necessities. Well, I keep it bare. Michael Orr also says at W Women Boxing Channel, it's been a while. How's everything? Okay, keeping up. Michael Orr says, I guess Fundora's brother is known as the Towering Inferno. And she's known as something like Sweet Poison or whatever, but I see her more like a viper in there. Yeah, man. There's a fighter back in the day that I came up with named Vernon Forrest. Well, not came up with, came up under. He was like a big brother to me. I trained out of the same gym when he was, before he became big and stuff. And he, boy, I tell you, boxer and pop with the hooks. He just like he was orthodox though, but I see, her style reminds me of Vernon's style, which I really like that. We can now bring some of that into the female game, where we have that serious, we have that serious, um we have that serious engagement now, right? Because when you fight a fighter like Gabrielle Fondora now, she's not going in, she's not, she's not going in there leaving no crumbs. Okay, you got to know what you're doing. Arlie Musino is a good fighter. She just stopped her, right? Because Arlie Musino has been fighting other broads with more of a female style, I should say. Meaning, that you can go in there. She expected certain things that us women, females, do in the ring, the movements and whatnot. And Gabriella um, changed changed the style on her, so she didn't have an answer, and she didn't know how to solve the problem. As a matter of fact, the problem became hers, and she had to, I believe her corner, Arlie Musino's corner, threw in the towel. And that's what I love about Mexican fighters. They, at the end of the day, they know when to call it quits. We'll fight another day. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Um, so we got the conversation on the thread happening. Um, Michael Orr says he's got a hole in his game because he fights on the inside. That huge reach and his last fight, it was exposed. Finally, maybe he will take a page out of his sister's book and start using that distance. Hmm. Okay, so you're talking about Gabriela Fondora's brother. And that's the thing too. That makes it even more interesting. It's like she's not trying to be like nobody. Her and her brother box, she has her style and he has his. And she found a way to use her she found a way to use what she has God given, her height and everything. And her brother, he's trying to find his way with no success, meaning, he wants to bang. I told you she's a boxer banger. So maybe her brother wants to be more of a banger than a boxer. And now is exposed, like Michael Orr says. Now he's exposed because that style doesn't suit him. um Michael Orr says, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully the future will be kinder. So I'm not sure. Okay, y'all got a whole other conversation happening in the thread, but okay. Oh, Women's Boxing Channel says his friend, oh my gosh, his friend looks like he committed suicide. Dave Courtney. That's so sad. Was Dave Courtney a fighter or just your friend, Women Boxing Channel? It's so hard when you lose a friend like that, right? Um, it's a serious thing. I had a friend who was a boxer, young heavyweight. This was when I first started, around the time. Young heavyweight. Um, Badass boy. He was badass boy. Matter of fact, we kind of had a little crush on each other. Um, he was big for his age. I was about 17 and he was like 18 or 19 years old. Big guy for his age, but he was bad. He was still in the streets. And we'd be at the gym training and everything like that. They even had him take ballet classes so he can be good on his feet, and he'd come in and show me how good he was at ballet. I'm telling you. Cute guy too. And then I heard, he was playing with a gun and accidentally shot himself in the head. And that just shook my world. You know, I'm a young girl. He played such a big part in my everyday life. Now he wasn't my boyfriend or anything like that, but to see a young person, a young life gone like that was very jarring to me, you know. And so it made me aware, even at such a young age, at taking care to make sure you understand what your friends and the people around you are going through, because we never know. Some people are looking like they smiling every day. Some people look like things are all right, and we never know the demons and the turmoil they're battling on the inside. Another kid, a brilliant kid, that when I was married, came through his brilliant young man. I'd never seen a Canadian kid too. His name was Colin Fish. Brilliant in the ring. I'm talking about poetry in motion. I was excited to see what he would become in boxing, because he was for sure world champion material. I'm talking about the boy had marbles, okay? He knew the math. And things that happened in his life, and it seemed like boxing was the thing that he could always run back to, and what kept him together. But then his coach died. And I'm not sure if y'all understand this much about us fighters. Your coach is much like your mother or your father. And some of us never even had, many of us fighters never had that type of figure in our lives. Meaning a mother, father, someone who's there for you. Someone who's there, who's going to be there waiting for you. Right? Because like I've said it before, when you decide to be someone's trainer, someone's coach, right? You decide to devote yourself to them. You're going to show up when they don't show. You at that gym, you at that place when they not even there, right? That's why they get so pissed when you don't come to the gym. They get so pissed when you didn't run, because they were there waiting for you. They're there expecting you. They've taken the time out of their life, right, to show up for you. And many of us don't, us fighters, take that for granted, right? I can say I've been a part of that. I've done that. But it's just like you're a child. As a child growing up, you learn the importance of your parents as you become older, right? That those parental figures, or those people who have been there for you, you value them more and more as you grow up and you mature, because you realize that they ain't gotta be there, but they're there because they believe in you, because they love you, because they see the potential in you when you don't even see it and feel it. So I'm going to digress back to Colin's story. Colin's coach died, and you could just tell, he lost a big part of himself. He didn't even have the taste for fighting anymore. And he kind of just disappeared off the map. And you know, years after, I heard that the young man passed away. And you know, I'm grown and everything, but it still hurts. Hurt because it hurts because you see, it hurts when a person doesn't see how bright they shine in this world, right? They really don't understand the impact that they have on those around them because they're battling so much inside, right? They really don't know what's going on the outside and how much they matter. So it's very important that we check on each other and we be aware and be kind about who's going through what. Take the time to ask, take the time to notice, right? Because when that light goes out, when that light ain't shining no more, we certainly miss it. And I want bright days. I want to see all of y'all. I want all of y'all around. I look forward to it. I love to see it. I love to see all of you when you show up. Um, so, my condolences to you, Women's Boxing Channel. I'm sorry you lost your friend. Um, and we at the Talk and Fight family will you know, we'll definitely keep you and your family and your friends in our prayers because we do believe in something here. We do, our religion is, talk and fight. But we do believe that, friends and family are important and we keep in everyone close in our prayers. Now, let's see. Okay. Oh, Women's Box Queen Sugar sweetens the day. Oh, thank you, Women's Boxing Channel. You always find a way to make me blush and feel all good and fuzzy wuzzy and snuggly inside. Michael Orr says Sebastian. Yeah, Gabrielle's brother's name is Sebastian. Michael Orr says, actually, she has a way more solid foundation than her brother. I would say, yeah, that's what I was saying. Style wise, right, Mike? Michael Orr says, I'm in the middle of setting up an interview to have her and her brother on the show next week. That sounds fantastic. I didn't even know that. Tell her I got my eye on her. Tell her she's doing it. I see her. Mike, you better tell her Sugar see her and like what she see too. And please ask her if she plan on stepping to Shanisha them, Marla them, all of them broads that's moving up. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to see some super mega action going on with the little weights too, with the skinny gals, with the itty bitty teeny mini mamas, right? We want to see them rumble too. So, I tell her she need to. I want to hear who she wants smoke with, cause she got them hands and them hands working. Know what I mean? Them hands work. So I want to see all the smoke. Women's Boxing Channel says, "Oh wow, that's a good interview right there." It surely is. Women's Boxing Channel says Sugar makes a fantastic agony aunt. Being serious, what's an agony aunt? What is that? Auntie Sugar, what is that? What's an agony aunt? Come on now. Um, Michael Orr says maybe you should join me for that Female Friday episode. I sure will. If I can't, you gotta tell me when though, because some Fridays sugar tied up. But let me know for real, for real. I would love to join you guys in that conversation. Now, I'm gonna start a fight. I'm gonna try to get that action. I'm trying to get that fan that fan that smoke so it turned into some fire because I want to see her get upside a lot of these little bitties heads out here. They've been getting along too easy, right? I want to see some action. So yeah, I love her style. She's on my radar. Lovely assistant. Let's see what else we got. What other images we got? There she go, looking all serious and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That's her, right? And that's how she's selling, just plain and simple. She looked like a little badass um little broad. Um Natural. Ain't no selling no tiggle bitties, ain't doing like just a girl next door that'll whoop up on your ass, and I like it. Keep selling it that way, Gabriella. Next image. And there she goes in the ring, okay? Like I said, lanky, unassuming, but she dangerous. Them hands work, and she knows how to use them. I just love a fighter who uses their feet. You know what I'm saying? And she uses her feet well. She uses her movement well. Even in the men's boxing now, I see a lot of these stuck in the mud ass footwork. Let's get back to the time. She's a boxer first, but she'll bang. She sets you up to bang you out, and boxers are supposed to be really good with their footwork. Sugar was a boxer, fighter, puncher. Okay, so I used to. Ultimately, at the end, I learned to bang, but and I used to always want to bang, but that wasn't my style. You know what I'm saying? Um, I was a hybrid of many, my style. And I like it. Yeah, I liked how things turned out in the end, but it's just refreshing to see when a fighter, when a young lady is being taught, and you can definitely see it. And I see it, young Gabriella. 12 0-0 with 5 KOs, okay? And one of the KOs is Arlie Musino, which is a crone out here. Not to say that it's the end of her days, but her ass got to go back to the drawing board. I tell you that much, because she ain't have nothing for Gabriella. And I like how Gabriella is fighting it out of Mexico, because she knows that's the belly of the beast. If she's bubbling, that's the bottom of the pot, right? You making any stew, you making any chili, right? When you scrape down into the bottom of that bad boy, that's when all the good stuff when you bring it to the top, it's good eating. Okay, she's going down to the bottom. She's down in Mexico fighting these broads. Now I don't see Shanesia doing that. I don't see Marla doing that, right? So I just I like it. I like what she's doing. Right? It's real. She's coming out. She's doing this thing for real. Um. So that, and yeah, Mike, invite me to the party. I'll come if I can, for sure, for sure. Um. And women's boxing channel. I'm still win. What the hell is an agony auntie? What is that? Change my image. Change my image, because the night can't be too long for me. I've got a headache. Not tonight. I've got a headache. Come on, come on, come on. Lovely assistant, you done had me waiting early. You can't have me waiting on my images. Women's Boxing Channel says, I like Argentinian fighters. They all fight like Mexican mentality. I like, okay, I'll say this, okay? I like Argentinian fighters, except for they rely on them damn steroids too much. Yeah, I said it. They cheat too damn much. But there's some tough, rough and tumble broads down there. I tell you that much. They can fight. But I think the Mexican women, they got the just like the men. They have their own. They are they have a culture there. Them women. Um, you know. And I think we can take a page out of their book, as those Mexican women, because they've gone into a solid, they what they have is solid. It's not, some, you know, now even the opponents coming up, your ass better watch out, because they're solid. There's a standard now that these Mexican broads have established, right? Jessica Camara ass got stopped the other day because they sent down there for an opponent from Mexico, and they know that there's a standard now. So all the Mexican bras can fight. So they when the opponent came up, the opponent exposed Jessica and was like, bitch, if you're not operating like this, I'm fin to stop you. And she certainly did. Now I think Kamara has bounced back with some other type opponents since then, but I just thought that was very interesting. Now you see who we have on the left here is, that's our boy, our scarf. That's Ron right there. I was hoping that he'd still be around or sticking around so we could talk about his article. Um, but let's see. Michael Orr says an agony auntie is a person, usually a woman, who gives advice to people with personal problems, especially in a regular magazine or newspaper article. Oh, okay. I take it. I'll take it. Um, Women Boston Channel comes out of the Cambridge Dictionary. Agony on, a person, usually a woman, who gives advice to people with personal problems, especially in a regular magazine or newspaper. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that that was a thing. Okay, agony aunt. What was it? You're There used to be, like, I remember growing up, especially in Jamaica, in the Gleaner, there's a space, I don't know if it's still there, where you write into the magazine, and the person gives you advice about your trifling ass personal problems. And so I used to love to read. I used to sneak and read them. And I'm telling you, y'all, Sugar used to get her ass clashed. My grandma used to, because I used to be so engaged in it, you know what I'm saying? Just reading it, that I'm so literal. Like, the world would like transform around me. Like, I'd be like into the whole thing, where I didn't even see my grandma Ruby coming up behind me, and she'd be standing there behind me for a good little while, watching me read this trifling ass stuff that a, a 8-year old shouldn't even be reading. Then next you know, pop. Magazine done flew everywhere. I didn't see anything. I didn't read. I tell you, I was a little funny, goofy little girl, but they still love me anyway. Um, but yeah, I'll be an agony aunt. I'll do that. I need to look that up, see if there's any job openings. Um, and thanks for the referral, you guys. Yeah, I'm follow up with y'all, so y'all can give the potential employer your check, your nod. Yes, she would be a good agony aunt. Anyway, um, R Scarf One says, yes, I'm here. Okay. Women's Boston Child said, yes, Sugar the Gleaner had an agony aunt. Okay. Hey, so you know about that. Okay. I used to read. Anyway. So, yeah, who you see right here. So, our scarf, I stole these pictures now. Okay, you looking all buff and stuff. This how you looking out here? Okay. So the next image, this is our scarf one holding the WIBF belt. He ain't bad looking, ain't he? right? The thing about the article is I found it very interesting because this belt right here, WIBF, this was a belt established for us, just for us. It was a women's boxing belt, right? When WBC, IBF, WBO, all of them, WBA, they wasn't recognizing us. They wasn't giving us no titles. There wasn't no room for us. Okay? WIBF was I think there were three belts: WIBA, WIBF, and something else, WIBO or something like that. But they had no affiliation with, the male bodies. They didn't. Right. So I found out from the R Scarf One's article, and sorry, y'all, my note fell, but I'm back. From the article, the title is "The First WIBF World Champion Reunites with the Sacred Strap." And so the first WIBF champion, um, wasn't the WIBF started by legend, what's her name now? Barbara Burtrick. Yes. Yeah. So Women's Boxing Channel, ain't it a party when we link up? By the legend, Barbara Burtrick and Jimmy Finn, right? Those two. And Jimmy Finn, he's like um the fairy godfather, in the game. He's around and he's very supportive. And you know, he's just, I mean, Barbara and him, they've done their due. They've been around. He's been Barbara's supporter now. Can you imagine? Like they're both, very mature in age. Okay, so Barbara, I think she's in her late 80s, mid to late 80s, and I think Jimmy Finn is close to around the same age too. And they've been about this women's boxing thing ever since. You know what I mean? And no one other than people who know who been known about women's boxing um acknowledges these names. You see, I'm Women's Boxing Channel, look like you in your book. Okay, you know about this. Our Scarf One, Ron Scarfone, wrote an article about Stacy Prestige. I jam your name up, but I do it with love. Okay, who was a super feather to a light super featherweight up to lightweight. That's the range that she fought. And she the first belt, from what I understand in your article, our Scarf One, was supposed to be for Barbara Buttrick's actual title, right? There's supposed to be an actual title for her. I think it was some like a comeback or something like that. And because the fight was supposed to be in Florida, it was supposed to be sanctioned in Florida. You took it upon yourself, Ron, to make the damn thing happen. And the commission or the promoter or somebody decided that they were going to back out of making the fight happen because none of the women, Barbara Burtrick is not from Florida, and then her opponent wasn't from Florida. And because of that, now, a wonderful historical event ceased not to happen. Right. So, in doing all of that, and in his labor of love in making, women's boxing happen, he now has this belt that, what is he going to do? And it starts, in the article, our Scarf One says the promoter did not want to do it because he did not have a boxer who was local that would make people want to buy tickets, right? So, he wasn't even looking at it for the sake of what it was, a historical thing. Promoter just wanted to make some damn, make some bread, put some bread in, on the table for himself, because I know it wasn't a woman. But um, I think Ron, I think Ron's heart was in the right place. You know what I'm saying? Because Ron it looks like it has been, one of the, one of the bigger minds in this whole industry, meaning that Ron saw it, instead of it being just two bad broads, two bad crones or whatever, fighting, for ticket money, it being an actual prestigious thing, an event, something that was belt worthy, something that was, So he had this belt for some time. The fight didn't happen. He had the belt. The belt was made. It was in his possession. And so what does he do with it? The article starts off with him standing in a line at the airport, waiting to get on the flight with the duffel bag, containing the women's boxing belt. Right, so ever since 9/11 or whatever, you can't just, go through the airport with no damn bag, right? So he went through, of course, through the security check. They want to know what's in the duffel bag. And it's so funny because, if you from the streets, you know what I'm saying? That duffel bag, it ain't gonna have a belt in it. That's for damn sure, right? But Ron had the belt with but Ron had some. Still, it was hard as hell. He had the belt in the duffel bag. That shit was That's hard to me, So he goes into, the security person opening the bag and takes out the belt, right? And he asks, what is this? He goes, it's a woman's boxing belt. And he said, so whose belt is it? Ron says, you wouldn't know her. So he's like, oh, did she fight Layla Ali? Nah. That's why, all they know is Layla Ali. So our scarf drops some education on the person. Nah, Layla, this person, this Stacy Prestage, she fought in the 90s, where Layla fought in the late 90s, early 2000s, something like that, right? So I just thought that was very interesting that he Ron Ron was had was there back in the day, and now he's come full circle where he's gonna give this belt at a bigger platform at a bigger event. You know what I'm saying? At the Women's International Boxing Hall of Fame, something that didn't even exist when he decided that he was going to do something with this belt and make this thing, give some these two women back in the day a platform to solidify, their efforts in, yes, being champions. Now he gets to hand it at this huge in a serendipity, just like, I don't like, to me it's sexy, serendip, because it's like he could have packed it in and did away with the belt, lost it or do whatever. He kept it the whole time, and the opportunity presents itself in a bigger, more prestigious air, under a bigger spotlight. I just thought that was amazing. I think that's an amazing part of the story. But I'm deep like that. Um, so Michael Orr says, Sugar, you definitely You definitely are the agony auntie using this platform to educate the youth so that we don't end up with a society of clowns. Yo, hey, that ain't you with that pot. That ain't you that wrote that patois in the thread. Who you got over there? Who you got over there with you, Mike? Me definitely are the agony auntie, but me are the agony auntie in a something else. Bad in a bed. Let me stop. When you're coming, I'm a ramping shop. Let me stop. I have got to stop this. This is a boxing. We come here to talk about women's boxing. Our scarf one says, I predicted that women's boxing would become popular. Okay, so you believed in us. You know, Ron, I'm speechless. You know what I'm saying? Because I just thought, here I go thinking that you are casual. You're not a casual. You've been riding with us ever since, and I love that. And you're on my platform. You come and you talk to me on Wednesdays. That makes me feel so good. That lets me know that, you know what? Just like how you predicted women's boxing would become popular, hey, maybe sugar might become popular one day too. I mean, Michael Orr says at R Scarf One, you and I both know that's the reason why my Knuckle Up has a Female Friday dedicated segment. R Scarf One says that's good. Michael Orr says at R Scarf One, I enjoyed the article you published. And R Scarf One says, thank you, Michael. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that article too. Very thorough. I actually think you should have chopped it up in like 3 segments, right? Because a lot of um a lot of people who read these articles, it some of it becomes too much for them to absorb and understand. So if you broke it up, then they could, when they come back to it, they have that foundation, right? So if it was a 3-part article, I think it would have been great, because how I saw it, I know the average Joe or Jane who's interested in boxing would not have seen it that way. I saw it that way because I was a part of the struggle. I was a part of the growth. I you know I was a part of that vision that you had, our scarf one. And here we are. Look at us. Look at you. And I'm so grateful. Um, our scarf one says, you're in the article, Sugar. I saw that you put me in the article, Ron. Thank you. Um, yeah, I felt that to my heart too. That you say, Taz is an up and coming fighter and mentioned on the Sugar platform, because I take pride, as simple as my platform is. I ain't got the fancy mics and all of that stuff. I want it to be a one-on-one, right? I make it like, to be honest, people talk about Sugar, you like your setup is so ghetto. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the ghetto is where a lot of wonderful things come from. And that's my ode to it. I mean, it's not ghetto like I'm from, I came out of the ghetto, the country. I came out from those humble beginnings, right? I was blessed to be one that have made it out of those those that environment. And it's kind of the same. I've been all over the world, and it's the same kind of culture and mentality in each ghetto, or each place you go to, each place where life is simple, and you got to make your way out of it to bigger things, right? But a lot of the times, like I said, many of us in our struggle in coming out of it, we carry these demons inside of us that we don't realize we can let go of, right? I've had the same thing to rust me, right? I fought them. They still sometimes they still try to show up, but it's y'all, it's you, it's you all out there, right? That, yeah, I'm Natalie at the end of the day, right? But it's y'all who believe in sugar, who believe in Too Bad and Miss Too Bad, right? It's those that are y'all that see me as that sister. It's those who see me, are y'all that see me as that agony auntie, right? That friend, right? It's those that y'all that see me as that light that shines on you and you shine your light back onto me. And I appreciate it because I tell you, it's y'all have lit some of my darkest hours. And I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be me if it wasn't for y'all. So thank you. And I'm not pretending. And this ain't it. It was never for pretend. Okay. That's why. Yeah. I love. I love it here. I love it here. Right, because there was a time where nobody liked this. This was too much. Right. And now look at where I am. Somebody gave me a show. And I got people that chime in, right? So never, never, never fall into the dark parts, right? Believe in yourself and believe that you're a light and believe that you are shining. And somebody going fuck with you. Somebody sees your bright light. Somebody loves you, babe. That used to be, it used to come on like every morning before um, I left to catch the bus to for my school, right? Because I lived out in the country. And you had to walk some, maybe a mile, to the bus stop, right? And so before I'd leave the house in the morning for somewhere, and Patty would be singing that in the morning, and I'd be singing "Somebody Loves You, Baby." I'll walk into the bus stop, right? Because there was a time where nobody understood me. There was a time where I was made fun of. I was bullied. There was a time where, it wasn't cool to be me. I didn't want to be me, right? And I had to fight through that struggle. So I don't ever want anybody out there to feel like that, right? As silly as you are, as goofy, as ugly as you are, because I used to be ugly. I still am in some people's eyes. I'm me. And I love me. And I'm always bet on me. And I want you to always bet on you. Our Scarf One says, Sue did not want to separate it because there were different things. So she felt it was better in one article. Oh, Sue. Well, me and Sue, we always kind of, be on different. We on different things. I love me some Sue now, but we have different ideas of what how things should go. I like I said, I felt like it was a very good article, very detailed. It was a lot, okay. And I just think it would have done a lot more good with more, into three. It would have brought more attention, back, like if she had dropped it day one, part one, day, part two, it'd have been, content for 3 days, and with the pictures and everything that's going on, I think it would have just been uh, great. But it still ended up fantastic, so I'm happy. Women's Boxing Channel says, when I went to Barbados, I was amazed at the buses all playing loud reggae with people hanging out of the sides. Oh, when I went to Barbados, Barbados was one of the other islands who I think hosted. Did they hosted one of before? I think it was when Katie Taylor blew up. They hosted one of the women's. Was it I think it was one of the women's events, like what if you one of the women's qualifying events or something like that. But Barbados hosted it, and after, there was talks of Sugar coming down to help in establishing the women's boxing program, because a lot of those women who were in the boxing program or interested in the boxing stuff in Barbados, they were a part of the military, right? Not it's the same thing in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, a lot of the time, and not Caribbean by, oh, I'm Caribbean, but I'm on the big mainland. I'm in the UK, I'm Caribbean. I'm in the US, I'm Caribbean. I'm in Canada. No, like on the actual islands, most of the women who participate in the boxing and these type of things are women who are either in the police, are in the police force, or in the military, or have that kind of uh, uh, grooming, so that I just find that interesting, but yeah, reggae. Listen, reggae is for the people. Listen, I was surprised when I was in Istanbul, Turkey, and I seen someone that this one guy, he had a camera. He was taking pictures at the event. I was representing Team USA. They were expecting me to be Team Jamaica because I was Team Jamaica the year before. They were looking for me, and he saw me, and he had a Jamaican towel, like the flag, but it was made in like a hand towel, and he was like wielding it over his head like that when he saw me, and he was like cheering. I was surprised in in Antalya, Turkey, to see a fan of the Jamaican women's boxing there. So, it was just it Ron, people like you are just a beacon of big hope for us, or was, because now look at where women's boxing has arrived. Now it's up to these wet nosed broads to keep it strong, which I don't know how good they are at doing that. I think it's really fading off. It is fading off. But it was the behaving badly that we were the pioneers, the trailblazers, the bricklayers, the makers, right? Because these broads now, they ain't making nothing. They ain't trailblazing. They have not done anything. They're walking the path that a lot of us have made, right? I don't see them doing anything to move it further, to move the future further, to make it as interesting as it should be, for women's boxing to continue to be a lifeline and to grow. I don't see it. I don't see where the money will be coming soon after, because Clarissa can't box forever. Katie Taylor can't box forever. Amanda ain't going to box. These celebrity boxers, they going to get old, right? So who going to come and beat them? And whoever's going to come and beat them has to be outstanding, and has to be marketable in a sense where they're adding to what's already been done. Now, the history swag jack that I see, where what a lot of these females now, these new ones are saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be the first to do some shit that was already done." That's also, it's like with poisoning, drinking, you know, drinking poison. You killing the sport. You're killing us, right? You're lying, right? Bring the history. Say, I'm coming through with the history of what was done before me, right? Don't say, oh, I'm the first to do some shit, because guess what, bitch? You're going to be the first and the last, because no one's interested, right? After you do your sorry ass version of what was done before, ain't nobody going to be interested, baby. So that's what I mean, right? If you say that I'm doing something that was done before that wasn't, that wasn't encouraged, that I want to bring back, now they can see the potential of what will come for the future, and you'll be a part of that. But these bitches on some me, uh, you know, it can only be one queen. Well, you're gonna end up, when it looks ugly, you're gonna be the one ending up with all the ugly all over you. You can't share. You can't give that to nobody else, because you said you was the first to do it. Um, our scarf one says the article would have been longer. It was 10 pages and I reduced it to 7 pages. Yeah, our scarf one, because I noticed how detailed the article is. The article is very detailed. And I can see in your writing how you want the person reading it to be there, right? That you want them to have all the components of being there, right? You don't want to leave anything out. You don't want them to misunderstand anything. And I appreciate that. That's why I would have said to break it up, because you wasn't there in one go. You were there in, different days at different times, right? So somebody can't read something that has happened in a progression of days just like that, and get the full, get the absorb the full understanding of it. Especially someone who is very new, because you're writing for people who don't know about this thing, to want to know and want to be interested and want to come back for more, right? You're not writing for people who already been around. We do appreciate it and we love that you do it, but we want to bring more people we want more people to be interested. Our scarf one, I want more people to read your stuff and want to know more and have questions. So when you put about the sugar show, then they can come find the sugar show and talk about it. If they have any questions about the article, we can discuss it here on this platform, because hey, that's what we're here for. um Michael Orr, yeah, sugar, me fully did write that out, and me no doubt if a minute that you are the agony auntie in a ramping shop, but data talk for grown folks, we are gonna chat about that little more when we, yeah man, we are gonna chat about that little more. Mm-hmm. All them something there. Listen, Michael, I don't know who you got there with you writing out the patois tonight, but listen, that type of talk, another talk we are gonna talk tonight, right? We are talk about boxing. We not talk about them to something there on this platform. Um, our Women's Boxing Channel says our scarf one. What's your article and where can I find it? I'll tell you, Women's Boxing Channel. Go to the WBAN website, Women's Boxing Archive Network, WBAN, right? And you're going to see her homepage. You're going to go down and you're going to see the title of his article is the first WIBF world champion reunites with the sacred strap. You're going to see his name there by Ron Scarfone. Okay, Women's Boxing Channel, please read it and let us know what you think. Come back to the cipher and let us know your thoughts, because you got some pretty good perspective too. R Scarf One says, that's how I write. I want the reader to experience what I did, such as at the boxing event or convention. I appreciate that, R Scarf One, because some people out here, whoo child, you just got to take a break from the nonsense, right? Because they don't even know what they're writing. Some people write some people write the lies that they're being told, and when they write it, a lot of us see the shit doesn't add up. Oh my gosh, I'm getting real potty mouth. I promise a couple people that I would clean up my act, but I tried, okay? Yeah, right. When you read these articles, it's actually interesting to me because, um, especially these women boxing articles, because when these people write it out, right, and you read it, you see the bullshit, and you're like, did this person, is nobody analyzing like what this thing is saying? Because literally some of these people are admitting to their padding. They're admitting to the fact that they've orchestrated their wins. They're admitting to a lot of cheating ass things that they do. It's just very interesting. Um, Women's Boxing Channel says, I'm due to finish a whopper about corruption in boxing tomorrow. Oh, okay. R Scarf One says, I like long articles. I'm known for them. My former editor at East Side Boxing loved long articles. One of them that takes 90 minutes to read was very popular. Okay. Well, the art of article writing is actually kind of fading off, because we in cyber world now, people love videos and all of that stuff. So writing is truly an art, right? I love when someone can write, and like I said, I can just go there. I'm there, right? So everything around me just turns into what I'm reading. I love that. But not many people do that anymore. There's the talent is no longer as prominent. Women's Boxing Channel says, this is the one. Belted, the first WBAF. Right. Is that a link that you put in the thread? Mm. Women's Boxing Channel said, I will read it I guess tomorrow. R Scarf One says, the problem with a lot of boxing writers is they don't properly edit their work. I read my articles 3 times to make sure the grammar and spelling are correct. I could tell. Women's Boxing Channel says, I write mine with superscript and subscript. See, it's a whole art to it. Hey, um, lovely assistant, let's change this image. Okay, so there go Rob right there doing, like, we had to put this one in, Rob. Okay. This is our scarf. It's Ron Scarfone, not Rob. Ron Scarfone, presenting the WIBF belt to Stacy Prestige, the first winner of this strap. Her belt got stolen, right? And without, I want y'all to read this article. So I ain't gonna tell you no more about what he wrote in the article. I want you to read it because it's very, very, very. It's not even just about the belt. It's about so many other things that that will enrich your knowledge and understanding of what the history and culture of women's boxing is. Just put it that way. Okay. But there go Ron. I just thought this was serendipity is so sexy. Okay. Whole ass full circle moment where Ron, he was going to make this belt, present this belt at a club fight show, right? Nobody would have remembered it except for the fighters involved or whatever. You know how this is women's boxing, right? And serendipity said, no, it's not going to happen now. Ron, I got something for you. And years go by, right? Over 20 years, I would say, or close to 20 years go by. Something like that. Almost 20 years go by. And here he is presenting that same belt that would have been presented in, you know, a little rinky-dink club show at the Women's International Boxing Hall of Fame. That's amazing. Women's Boxing Channel says, wow, we'll get my teeth into that article. So long. Our Scarf One says 30 years after she won the belt. 30 years. I'm like, that hit me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us in women's boxing thought or think we're going to get our due. I'm going to be champion. I'm going to do all of this, all of that. And it doesn't happen in our time, in our career, when we're hot. And years, decades later, is when we get our shine. And it's like, damn. Right? I put I'll tell you like a poke. So there's a there is a guy in boxing, Brian Cohen, who he does a lot for women boxers. He did, he did a lot, but I don't think his roots aren't very deep in the game. And I was on a thread. I was on a Facebook thread with one of my dear friends in boxing, Steve Cunningham, who is actually the only fighter besides the first fighter besides Wilder to drop Tyson Fury. Okay, and I'm not even in Tyson Fury. Just to give y'all some history about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, when I was married to my ex-husband, we had our gym. Tyson Fury and his family, Tyson Fury and his brother and all them, they came and was training at our gym before y'all knew about Tyson Fury. Okay, so we seen that one coming. Yeah, Tyson and wonderful, wonderful guy. It was before he even looked before he even bald his head or everything. He was looking like had his hair cut and all shaved, boy next door, right? He didn't look like the bad boy image that he has now. But we were talking about a fighter, that fighter that went over to Japan and lost badly against that Japanese kid that fought over there. And I was talking about the actual the jet lag and the difference, how you have to not only prepare to fight, but you have to prepare for the time difference because your body feels it. Your circadian rhythm definitely needs to be adjusted before you go anywhere that is 6 or more hours, or I would even say 3 hours time difference, right? Your circadian, your body clock has to line up with the battle that you're going into. Otherwise, you ain't gonna make it. Okay. So, Steve, everyone was wondering why that young man looked so bad in the fight, right? Because I'd gone over to fight Fujin Raika in Japan and I had experienced it, I didn't prepare for the time difference or anything. You got to be a motherfucking dog to um to perform after going through that, right? Because your body, regardless of how prepared you are, your body is gonna your body's gonna act how it's gonna act. There's nothing you can do about it, right? And if you're in a place where it's 12 hours difference, your circadian clock, your body clock says, I should be sleeping, but you're in an intense fight. Your body is going to be in that mode, okay? It's not gonna wake up, right? You are what you repeatedly do. So the timing of it is going to be off, right? This goon comes on the thread talking about, oh, the person had 2 weeks difference. So I explained about what I just told y'all. And he came on and he had the nerve to talk about my boxing background, that I only had 9 fights, which I only had 9 professional sanctioned bouts. Um, but his lack of knowing the boxing industry removes him from the fact that I have extensive experience and knowledge otherwise. That's why fighters like Steve Cunningham, who is a world champion, respect me. Steve had to, Steve, came in and was like, I knew, confirming what I've said. I knew there was something up because he fought in Germany and he felt the same difference. And he was like, thank you. Your professional knowledge is, saying that how much he appreciates my professional knowledge. And not on no fan gal shit. Like me and Steve and his wife go back to where I was there when they met in the damn. I remember when she came into the gym and she came in and they met, right? So I also, I say this, there's people in this industry, Johnny come lately mofos, that think that because they're doing something now that this that nothing was being done before, or nothing has been done and did before, and people weren't there and nothing was on there. It wasn't valid. Shit wasn't valid until they stankin' ass showed up. And it's just wonderful how serendipity decides, right? So I don't, no one. Look at Ron Scarfone right now presenting that belt, right? He would have been a nobody to a goon like homeboy that I was just talking about, but look how deep his roots are in the history and the culture of women's boxing, right? So you can never count anybody out. And if you have had good intentions, because I say this too, that women's boxing is a karmatic sport, right? Karmatic sport. If the intentions that you come in with is what you will get in the end, right? So never count yourself out. Um, Women's Boxing says it's like a broadsheet article on a Sunday. I guess. Our Scarf One says, I thought I was going to cry, but I was too tired. I deleted a lot about me being tired. I was awake for 18 hours before I had to speak at the podium. Well, um, I'm glad you didn't cry, but I'm glad you had your moment, Ron. And I hope that this isn't the last, right? Because you deserve by you doing that, that, like I said, full circle, something that you believed in came into reality, came into this is what we're living now, and you gave that champion her belt. Amazing. Women's Boxing Channel says Cohen gave Rick Ramos a bitch slap at Ebony Bridges' press conference at Leeds, UK a couple years ago, and Ramos called the police on him. LOL. You see what I'm saying? Shit like that. Men slapping each other. Leave the fighting to the women. You know what I'm saying? The fact that, yeah, I slapped you. Listen, if I'm a dude and I'm gonna go at another dude, I'm not gonna slap him. Right? I'm gonna drill this damn knuckle sandwich through the back of his head. You know what I'm saying? That just goes to show you the type of guys we're dealing with, right? It's slapping. Um, but Rick Ramos got a bitch, and Rick Ramos called the police. Well, all bets are off. You see what I'm saying? You could tell who's the. You could tell. Let me stop. I was gonna say something, but I mean, it just shows you a lot about the relationships, if you know what I mean, right? Because if I'm a dude, I'm gonna tell you, I was married, right, and my ex-husband ain't no man finna slap him. And he ain't finna call the police on nobody after he got slapped. I tell you that much. You know what I mean? Slapping and like leave that kind of fighting. Not your women ain't slapping nobody. You know what I'm saying? So why you coming through slapping and then calling the police, right? Come on, leave that. That's a Tyler Perry movie. Leave that shit on the big screen. Um, Cohen's married to Callie Race. Yep, they're married. And Women's Boxing Channel says they were doing Bridges Corner. Good on them. Women's Boxing Channel says Rick Ramos is McCaskill's fiance and trainer. For those that don't know, fiance and trainer, fiance and trainer. Let's see how that works out. Because to be honest, like how this marriage thing goes, I've been there, done it. I might do it again. Who knows? Okay. Um, when you're gonna get married, because they've been fiancés for a long time, and it hadn't happened yet, from what we see. It may not happen. You know what I'm saying? Like if I think they were fiance back in the time when he got slapped, right? If you the fiance for that long, you might not be getting married. I'm just saying, like that's just any of y'all out there, um 1 year engagement, yeah. 2 year engagement, 3 year engagement, 4 year, like you ain't gonna have me on hold for this long. Something's gotta happen. That's but good luck to them. That trainer and fiance, or husband and wife fighter type, husband and wife fighter trainer dynamic is a whole other thing, right? Ask Christy Martin. But at the same time, ask Brooke and her husband, right? So they can be on two ends of the spectrum, right? But a lot of stuff goes on in the middle. But that's another show. Lovely assistant. Um, Next image. Okay, so I had to, get y'all up on this. WBO rejects McCaskill Ryan immediate rematch appeal. How that happen? You know what I'm saying? I think I even said that. It ain't good. I told y'all it wasn't going to happen. I told y'all it wasn't going to happen, right? So supposedly WBO, and what was the other belt? I think what other belt? I think it's the IBF. The two other belt, because they both have their two different belts. And I don't promote the belts and bodies on here. I don't. But the shenanigans go like this, right? The match didn't make enough money or did not pull enough attention for those bodies to give a shit about it happening again. And what they don't want to do is they don't want to, neither of these fighters pull bread, right? McCaskill ain't pulling no bread, and Sandy Ryan ain't pulling no bread. And so what the belt bodies want to do is get a little bit more dough out of them before they end up making them fight somebody who will take the belts off of them. Or that or keep it going to where nobody has to make these difficult decisions, and then each person can pay their bills separately, because if one person has to pay both bills, then the income that the other person that had the belt is now gone. The income from this champion is gone, right? And so you're solely relying on one person to make money off of this title, this belt that you just gave them or that they just won. It doesn't make sense business wise. And so that's why this appeal got rejected, right? They made a business decision there. And then at the end, because at the end of the day, none of these bras decide who they fight. They don't. The person who does decide is the one who's paying the bill. And both of these, from what I see, they ain't paying the bill. They ain't got the money to be paying the bill to make the decisions. Women's Boxing Channel says this is what my article's based on. Okay. I'd love to read it and see what you have to say. Women's Boxing Channel says, I know the inside story. big news coming out soon on news. Can't reveal just yet. Okay. Well, you coming on here, that okay, then you know something we don't know. Okay, but we finna find out. So we talk about it when we all know. Women's Boxing Channel says this ain't about money. I'm gonna tell you that much. Way more to it. Okay, we'll see. Because let me tell you something. Don't nothing move but the money. Nothing moves but the money. Everything is money based. Everything, right? It ain't about no heart and soul. It ain't about no feelings or relationships. It's about money. So if it's not about, if this decision or whatever is not connected to money, I want to see what bullshit they got, and they going to try to convince us that it's about. Our Scarf One says, I'm going to the Amanda Serrano fight in Orlando this Friday. I will write an article about it. Okay, and I look forward to reading that, Ron. What do y'all think about this fight coming up? To be honest, um, it's supposed to be a match that proves, I guess, that women can fight 12 3-minute rounds. Amanda Serrano says it's not going to even last that long. So I'm just not even interested. You know what I mean? I would have, I'm just disappointed that Amanda Serrano is not fighting somebody, a veteran like herself. If you in there with a bad bitch and you said, we're going to go at it for 12 3-minute rounds, now that's super. That's interesting. You going in there with somebody who is a wet nose, right? We don't even know her. She don't. I mean, I don't doubt that she is a good fighter. She has great potential or whatever, but she doesn't have a receipt, and she doesn't have a history that would make me interested in seeing her go 12 rounds with no Amanda Serrano. Now, if it was a Melissa St. Ville, if it was a Tiara Brown, if it was who else? Who else is around that weight? That's interesting. Or could be around that weight. You know, even if she had said that her and Heather Hardy was going to do that, it was going, Heather was going to bleed the whole time. That's what Heather do, right? Her performance. She'll fight leaking, right? But this up and coming, this one that's coming, she don't have the credit. She doesn't have the credit, the street credit for us to be interested. So, I mean, and I don't see Amanda getting upset in this fight. I really don't. So unless this broad comes up, I'm not even gonna say her name. Unless she comes up and KOs Amanda, I'm not interested. Um, Michael Orr says you should come join me on my Female Friday segment and discuss what's going on with you dropping the inside scoop. Ooh, Mike, that was kind of low blow, right? He said it was going to be big. I thought he was going to do it on my show. Now you talking about him dropping it on your show. What you doing? I'm just playing. It don't matter to me because I'm gonna talk my talk about it. So wherever you drop it, just make sure, that it's juicy. Because now you got two people off a talking fight want this tea, want this hot tea to be on their show. So it's got to be something good. It better be something good. It better not be no hot bullshit. Women's Boxing Channel says, can't Mike, as Sandy been talking to me a lot yesterday and she revealing something herself. She trusts me immensely, and she's a great buddy of mine. So we work very much together on discussions. Oh, that's why you go so hard for her. I see. Okay. That's good. As fighters, we all need that confidant, that person. Ooh, sorry, y'all seen me spray the screen? We all need that person that we can talk to and have that. So that's good that you're that for her women's boxing channel. You know, she did have a good rally there against Jessica McCaskill, and I saw that she should have, to be honest, I don't know if you tell us. I know you talk shit, and I know you a fire starter. It don't matter to me though, because Sandy can get the smoke, right? I don't care. Um, she should have. She could have easily stopped McCaskill, right? And I hope that she could capitalize on that if she gets the opportunity to get in the ring with McCaskill the next time, right? Um, to stop her, because she really could have. Um, Women's boxing says it's a trust thing we got. I get it. Michael Orr says, Miyamoto is the one to watch, for she's the current super bantam IBO champ. Right? Well, guess what? I want Miyamoto. I want what's her name? Gabriella Fundora. Like, that's who I'm pow, 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 pow. Shots fired. Okay? Miyamoto and Gabrielle Fundora. I want to see how them behave badly, right? Because Gabriella Fundora, she's in the mix. She can go up there, and she could fight at bantamweight too. I could see that happening. Michael Orr says, I'd love to get in touch with Sandy Ryan. I've been trying for a while. I'd love to interview on my show. Michael Orr says, without stepping on your toes, of course. Michael Orr says, Miyamoto can take everybody right now. She's a super bantam. Michael Orr also says, Gabrielle is three weight division. Don't give me that bullshit. Don't come on, you three weight divisions below. Weight divisions. Don't do that. Gabriella Fundora is 5'9". Okay? She could carry that extra. She could go up there and she can fight. She can go get her. She could go get her. Right? This is a sport for bad bitches, right? She could go get her, right? Or Mia could go down and try to get her. That's what this whole thing was about in women's boxing. That's what separated us from the men. That's what y'all don't understand. We used to fight all different ranges. It was like how men's boxing was back in the day, right? When you had what's his name? Armstrong? Hank Armstrong or something like that, who he was like 5'7", but he had like five different five and he was the champion in like five different weight divisions. I think he went all the way up to like super middleweight or something like that. What was it? What was that fighter's name? Not Hank, something like that. I forgot his name. Right? That's how women's boxing was at one time. There were women who were fighting in women in that was lightweight fighting in middle. Henry Armstrong. Okay. Our scarf wants that. Henry Armstrong. Like we were like that. That's what made women's boxing interesting. Don't take that away from us. Don't encourage the bullshit, Mike. Okay? These girls, they can go. They can go get a hole. They can go get one, and you could drop down or go up. Right? It's happened. I've done it. Right? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But that's that shit that makes us, right? That's what makes you bad. That's why we behave badly. Because anyone could get it. Right? Don't turn it into men's boxing now. When you're 2 weight classes, then you're 3 weight classes up. Come on, don't do that. Right? Mm-mm. We're not at that place anymore. Like these girls are doing the roids and whatnot and everything. They cheat. They ass is cheating and everything like that. But a part of our culture was anyone could get it. Um, Michael Orr says Mia has fought 4 weights above super bantam, so she did doing it too. Um, Michael Orr said I don't think Mia can get the flyweight. Okay, can make flyweight. Okay. Listen, that's what was out there. That's what was for us. I remember. Listen, yeah, Melissa Hernandez, y'all, Melissa Hernandez used to fight 165 in amateurs. When she turned pro, she went all the way down. She was like 120 something. As a matter of fact, her manager at one time, Adrian, I forgot what his last name, um, had they had offered. They wanted. I was supposed to fight her in um, in the pros when we first started, right? So it's like this weight division thing ain't a big deal for us yet. Um, Michael Orr says she didn't fight in her weight class until her night professional fight. I would say ninth professional fight. Is that what you're saying, Michael Orr? Michael Orr says, oh, okay. Sorry, I went back. Michael Orr says Mia has her sights set on that featherweight division after she dominates super bantamweight. Mia better get her sights set on who the hell gonna make a good match for her. She still ain't. I'm sorry, she ain't a name etched in my book, right? She a name out here, but she needs to be fight like opposition. Like my when we hear me go back in the old days, and I'm gonna say it. Anybody could get the work. And it meant that if a broad came up and her name started being popular, she could get that work. Oh, would you fight? Yes, she could get it. Like we would talk, we would even say it just for the sake of saying it. Yeah, I'll get up on her porch. You know what I'm saying? So that's a part of it. That's a part of the fight talk, right? Whether it will happen or not, who knows, right? And the way you sell yourself and the way you sell a fight is you call these names, because maybe they'll take you up on it, and next we can have a good fight. We can have something super. We can have something mega, right? Ain't nobody, these broads ain't calling each other out. They silent as shit. Broads are on some real punk shit right now. Just to put it, I've said it. No one's calling anybody out. No one's saying anything, right? Everyone, I'm just waiting my turn. I'm waiting my turn for this rematch, right? Ryan should already be talking shit. She used to talk like I've heard her talk her shit, like needed to be showing up in places, saying, I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what WBO said, whatever. I'll fight this bitch in the Wendy's parking lot. They robbed me. I want my win. You know what I'm saying? Not, oh, we're going to wait for the belts to tell us when to fight. A fight is a fight is a fight. That's what it was. And that's what the culture is in women's boxing. It's not about, oh, it's the weight classes. It's not about that. It's about women behaving badly. It's about fighting, right? Me and Jelena Marjanovic were never, we weren't in the same way, but she was in my town. I was in her town, and she was in my town. And she, guess what? Challenged me to an exhibition, and I went to Edmonton and beat her ass. Y'all wouldn't hear about that, though, right? She invited me to Edmonton for an exhibition. I beat her ass. You could hear the people. She had everybody in the auditorium in the place. They had dinner and they did it up. You could hear a pin drop. Cause when nobody cheering for me, Edmonton is her hometown, right? I went over there and beat her ass. And guess what? There were no more talks of she knew who was the baddest bitch. Right? Same thing with Kara Rowe when Kara was popping, right? Down in Saginaw, Michigan, Little River, that was my town. I was claiming that here she come. She tried to come up there, right? And so I was like, oh, okay, she can get it because this is my town. And guess what? It just never panned out because at the end of the day, it's going to be me and you in that ring, right? And I'm a samurai. Y'all seen it. I die by the damn sword, right? Y'all seen it. I live by the sword and die by. I ain't running from nothing. I'll go down swinging, right? And a lot of fighters, they not built like that, right? So that's how that was. So no talks about this weight class thing. Let's see. Women go up. Women's boxing channel says women go up, down, and sideways to increase the depth of field. They do it perfectly. Well, it's something that we've had to do, right? Because the money wasn't, we didn't have the money in the business, right? So we had to go for the money. Like when Christy Martin was fighting, everybody was trying to get to Christy Martin's weight to fight the money. When Layla, everybody was moving up to fight Layla, right? But Layla had her people that she fought. When Clarissa, everybody was like, oh, everybody needs to be middleweight. Everyone's moving to fight Clarissa, right? So everyone's like, regardless of what weight class you were, when you had a celebrity come into, a celebrity was made, that's where the money was. So don't nothing move but the money. That's what I mean by that, right? Ain't nothing moving but the money. Women's Boxing Channel says Adrian Boner. I don't know. Michael Orr says, so I see Amanda Serrano in the future. Okay. That could be something. Michael Orr says Brian Cohen is trying to sign her right now. Yeah, Cohen's trying to sign everybody. That's what he does. Michael Orr says if she signs with Cohen, we'll see tons of her. If she signs with Cohen, yeah, because Cohen know about this industry. That's one thing. He know how to get the money, right? Now, is she's gonna be in a position to be a champion? Is Mia, right? Because Mia's trying to get, Mike says Cohen's trying to sign Mia. Will Cohen make Mia a champion? Ask Mary McGee, right? Because Mary was with Cohen. Ask Jessica Camara. Because Camara, they're probably still with Cohen, right? It's still based on your people. Still based on your people. Is your people willing to pay the money to the sanctioning bodies so you can get these belts? Okay. Isn't that fun? Like, this is awesome. People are getting signed now, right? There was one time where your ass signed, who the hell was going to sign you? You better fight. You sign a damn contract. You sign as you go. Ain't nobody, now broads are getting signed and shit. This is great. Um, Women's Boxing Channel says, incidentally, Tiara Brown's about to reveal a promoter partnership, I believe, and I'm very suspicious it's Jake Paul's MVP. Well, it's about time. Um, so if Tiara Brown gets signed with Jake Paul, because Amanda is Jake's girl, I wonder how that's gonna pan out. Will he do a Don King thing and be like, I'm, I promote both of y'all and then have that be something super? Like, who knows? Tiara Brown is Tiara Brown is a fighter that really should be getting shine. She's a very good fighter. Um, she just hasn't gotten a break. She hasn't gotten a good break. I would have loved to see Tiara Brown fight Amanda Serrano in the earlier times. I don't know about now, right? Because Amanda has a bit more momentum in leverage and political standing than Tiara Brown, right? So I'm sure Amanda will fight her now, but Amanda stayed away from Tiara Brown like she was COVID um, earlier before she got her big break. So we'll see how that works out. That's very interesting. Michael Orr says, "I'm very close to your arm. I'm I'm very close to your arm around. I know she's about to sign, and it's gonna be huge." Okay, I don't understand that one. Um. Okay, so Tara Brown's about to blow up from what I understand. Good. That's good stuff. Michael Orr says, "I have no idea what voice to text. Just type right there." I don't know. Michael Orr says, "I was trying to say that I know Brown very well. I think she's getting signed to MVP." Well, that's good. Finally, she's been in the game for a while. She was a part of that, like, uh, that dream team generation movement, like when Rissa was amateur, Queen Underwood and them was coming up. There were some really good prospects coming up at one time, during that time, besides who you see have become celebrities now. And Tyresha Douglas, some good fighters that they never got a break. So let's see. What weight division is Tyresha? I would love to see Tyresha fight, because she's a little broad too. I would love to see Tyresha fight one of them little broads too. Get in the mix. She fights for a league. Tyresha Douglas does, and she's doing good. She had some things happen in her personal life where she stepped out of it, but she's back. She's back, and she was one of my favorites. She was in Marla. I seen her beat up Marla Esparza, actually, and got robbed um, for the qualifiers, for the Olympic qualifiers. I did see that. So that's another name to look out for, Tyresha Douglas. Um, Women's boxing, I'm about to end it soon, y'all, too, because I'm getting tired and sleepy. Women's Boxing Channel says, the interesting thing is I asked Heather Hardy live on Brooke Dejour's show, would she be prepared to fight Tiara? And she said, nope, she ain't got a promoter. I told Tiara and she then called her out. You see what I'm saying? That's that bullshit game. Now Heather Hardy too big to fight somebody without a promoter. You want to know why? Because Heather Hardy's at the point where she says, I'm a superstar. I fought Amanda Serrano. I'm not leaking for nobody unless they have a promoter. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I guess it makes sense for Hardy because she's one of those that, she's a leaker. And Heather loses, Heather goes back to her size after she fights, and Heather In order for her to get ready for her fight weight or things, she go through a lot. So in order, I'm sure, now that she's experienced this, this real money that she's experienced fighting Amanda Serrano, she ain't finna do all of that for nobody, for no small change fighter, which is what she's calling, low key calling Tiara Brown right now. But if Tiara does get signed by MVP, like you guys are hinting on, then that would actually be interesting. Why? Because then Tiara gets to show how she does against Heather Hardy, and they can then build up a fight between Tiara Brown and Amanda Serrano. Um, Women's Boxing Channel says, she says, let's see if Hardy fights me now when I drop my big news, if it's about money, or will she now change her mind? Hardy then said, yep, if she got the money, I'll fight. Okay, well, so said, so done, right? That's what Hardy said. Hardy said, bitch, get your weight up, get your money up, and yeah, I'll fight you, but I ain't leaking for no small change fighter. And I mean, that's a bar right there. Like I feel Heather in what she said. Women's box, because Heather know that Tiara will beat her up. Women's Boxing Channel says, so if that fight go, Heather knows that Tiara Brown will beat her up because Amanda Serrano low key knows that Tiara Brown will beat her up. And you seen what Amanda did to Heather. Women's Boxing Channel says, so if that fight goes ahead, I want free tickets as it was me that lit the fire. Man, you know when you'll get a free ticket? When you get in the ring with both of them. Then you get a first-hand seat. You get a first front row seat to somebody getting their ass whooped. Michael Orr says, can we put her in the category of the one bad bitches of boxing? Of one of the bad bitches of boxing? Listen, there have been several of us. Okay? You just have to be. And you're one way or another, your reputation will precede you in one way or another. You see what I'm saying? Whether you've had a lot of fights or not a lot of fights, right? Your reputation precedes you, right? So that. Michael Orr says, are we all in agreement? Hell, I'm always in an agreement for a real fight to happen. Michael Orr says, Hardy said that at this age, just lately doing it doesn't make sense for her not to fight unless it's a good payday. And it's true because she's up there in age. Her time, when she was proving herself is over. Like Heather Hardy was like the heart and soul of Brooklyn at one time. And her and Amanda fought over that. And then they came back. You know what I'm saying? So, like, she's put her work in, right? Heather Hardy ain't running. Heather Hardy has just made it very clear, I ain't leaking unless you paying me. Heather Hardy also, Michael Orr says, Heather Hardy also said that this it's gone. Women's Boxing Channel says, why you delete that last post, Mike? You were right. ITV as about choosing money for Hardy. She said that. She's running out of time, she said. Yeah, because, women we can't fight forever. We don't want to fight forever. Right? It's the training, the work for it is hard on the body. People think that, oh, it's just something that you can do. No. And it gets harder as you get older. Right? It's different. I mean, even though us women we peak at an older age. But once you peaked, you peaked. You need to be finding that exit. Um, Michael Orr says, yo, I think Moto would smash Amanda Serrano. I don't think so. I give Amanda Serrano more credit. Amanda Serrano, she's been around. Amanda Serrano got this. Moto needs uh, Moto needs a lot more seasoning before she get in there with Amanda Serrano. Right? That's your girl. Tell her I said it. Right? You can't. You gotta respect the game, y'all. Mans. You have to respect the game. Right? And understand that unless and Amanda Serrano is not someone that they can lamb to the slaughter, meaning they can suck her down and put her through a lot of shit and then put her out there like how they did what's his name? What's that movie? Russell Crowe on Gladiator, when the prince stabbed him in his chest and then fought him in front of the Coliseum, right? You can't weaken a person and then fight. Amanda is not at that place yet. I mean, it's not at that place. Amanda, right, is a very powerful woman in boxing. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't. She's not vulnerable to shenanigans. She's no longer. She's immune to that, right? If anything, you're gonna have to go through shenanigans to fight her. Right? So Moto's got a lot. Moto's got she's got a bit more seasoning before she even get to the level of smashing Amanda Serrano like that. Um and that's just the game. Oh, 86 boxing. Okay. Hey, you knew. Thanks for chiming in. I was about to go, but I'll stick around a little longer. Talk to you. Hello. Women's Boxing Channel says, oh, your post reappeared, Mike. LOL. Okay. 86 Boxing says, shout out to Tiara Brown. Yeah, shout out to her. And you know, it's about time. It's about time she got her due, because she's been around. She deserves it. Ho says Sugar is one of the bad bitches of boxing. Straight goods, period. Okay. Well, thank you. Listen, there have been many, and there have been many that y'all don't even know about. There have been many bad bitches that didn't even make the popularity, the name list in boxing, right? And they've been winners and they've been losers or opponents, right? But I call a bad bitch this. A bad bitch is someone, they don't care about the win or the loss. They gonna go in there and they gonna make you remember who they are, right? They go in there to behave badly, right? They gonna fight your ass, right? And a lot of that's what women's boxing was about. Now it's about belts and bodies and all of this and all of that. But, you know, it was ultimately about bad bitches and women behaving badly. And so there is a lot of us, right? It's still, I mean, you know, not revealing too much about myself, but I watch a lot of the backyard boxing, the boxing in the parks, the boxing at the strip clubs, because that's where a lot of us come from, right? That's where a lot of us come from, right? But without me saying too much, right? And there's a lot of bad bitches that show up for that, right? That didn't make it to the clean, the official platform. They stayed underground making that money, because they make money too. They're just not celebrities, right? You show up, they make thousands of dollars per night, right? In a park, in a backyard, in a basement, at a strip club, right? So women's boxing had many branches to the tree. Now that you see these broads, right? These corny, some of them, a good amount of them are corny, right? You miss out on who made us who we are, right? Christy Martin. Who do you think Christy Martin was fighting? Who do you think made Christy Martin? Where do you think Christy Martin came from? Who do you think was in the tough women contest? What do you think? What do you think bad bitches were doing? What do you think women boxers or women who fight were doing before it came to this? Well, the bodies and belts. What do you think we were doing before that? And it was official, and it was authentic, and it was very real. Okay, that's our culture. That's our history, right? And I'm holding on to it, and I'm not forgetting about it. I'm not, right? Because that's what gave us our longevity. That's what made us popular. A lot of the fighters that came out and that was fighting back in the day before we got TV time and all this shit. The reason how do you think people knew about them and came to watch them fight? Right? Do you think it just popped up in the air? No, because a bitch was behaving badly in a barnyard. A bitch was behaving badly at a bar. Okay? It wasn't this. We come a long way. But a part of that culture is being lost because a lot of those broads who would fight, you know, anywhere and anybody can get it. And oh, who you in the audience? Okay. Or I'll get up there and fight you. You know what I'm saying? All of those type of personalities are disappearing, but they are the ones who made it interesting. They're the ones who made it interesting, right? Because they had the moxie. They would go anywhere and do it. Women's Boxing Channel says, hi, 86. We agree on that. Okay. Women's Boxing Channel said, I was talking about Tiara Brown being a bad bitch, not Sugar. TFB. I don't know what that means. Sorry for the confusion. Brown needs to prove it first. Brown ain't got to prove my. If y'all knew about Brown back in the day when she was an Emmy, y'all would know Brown is bad. Tiara Brown is a baddie. Tiara Brown is a baddie. She come from the head. Tell me what school she came from. Tell me where she came out of. If y'all can't tell me where she came out of, then y'all don't know. Y'all don't know about this fighter that y'all talking about. Tell me, this is the $1 million question tonight. Tell me where Tiara Brown came out of. Start Googling, I guess. Michael Orr said, 86 boxing got it. Headbangers. Oh shit, Hosted, Florida, Women's Boxing Channel said, Team USA. I'm gonna let y'all know, 86 boxing. You on here making it real funky, huh? Throwing your draws all in and through the conversation. I like it. Headbangers out of DC. Okay? Now, you got to know boxing to know about the headbangers. Okay? My first big tournament, the headbangers came out deep. Now, they didn't have any women in their group. But if Tiara headbangers period was synonymous for being some bad mother, you heard me? Okay. All right. Now, that's Tiara Brown street credit. Okay. So what happens is when you come out of a kitchen like headbangers, because headbangers, we call them kitchens, right? Wherever you come out of, like where you come, that's your kitchen. Okay. Kronk is a kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Headbangers is a kitchen, right? The kitchen that you come out of is what makes you. Okay? So if you're a female and you came out of headbangers, that means a lot. I mean, that's your street credit right there, because headbangers didn't play with nobody. Nobody, right? They wasn't going. If you a female, you got to prove yourself being in that kitchen, right? And you had to spar, and you had to go through what everybody else was going through in the kitchen. That's how that works. Okay. So I think was it Keith Holmes? Keith Holmes was a bad mother. Keith Holmes was a fighter that was affiliated with headbangers. I'm not sure. Man, headbangers was around, like, yeah, it was tough. DC was tough at the time when you had Joppy up there. Who else? It Mark Too Sharp. Listen, Mark was up there. That's where I met him. Mark Too Sharp Johnson. I met him up there in DC. But yeah, I don't know if he was training with them or what, but yeah, yeah, Sugar was around in these times. Like I met all these awesome fighters, right? And not on no groupie shit neither, right? I had to earn my keep being around this and staying around there. I can't be. That's why I talk the way I talk, because can't nobody said they had no sugar. I wasn't hoeing, right? I put my time in. I was working. I was working something else than the goodie, right? If you got some of the goodie, then you was lucky. But I wasn't working it through to make my name. I made my name with these. Y'all just may not know it on this celebrity scale. Oh, 86 boxing says hello, women's boxing channel. Salute. 86. Okay, they had a whole conversation there. Okay. 86 boxing says indeed. Okay. Michael Orr says a bad bitch. A boxing. Here we are with the patois. Listen, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm going to read it in my mind, though, but we're not doing that here. Now, 86 Boxing says, yep, hitters out of D.C. All right, 86. So listen, 86 already know that I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about, right? And it wasn't, like I said, Sugar wasn't around on no groupie shit, okay? Even when I trained with Uncle Roger called me, like, I was, right? Uncle Roger came to Midland, Texas. There was a USA boxing tournament that I missed the registration for the tournament by like 5 minutes. They didn't allow me to register. I was in tears, right? Came off the plane, caught the cab to the hotel, and sorry, y'all, I had to put this man. Caught the cab to the hotel that it was going to happen. The registration was that came through 5 minutes late, and registration closed. They wouldn't register me, and I was in tears. And I didn't even know who this person was. I was a wet nose, 18 years old. Got sent out there. My coach Johnny didn't know that I went out there. He was supposed to take me to the tournament, and something happened, and he decided that he wasn't going to take me. And so I got money together and flew out there on my damn own to this tournament, okay, where I met Kanisha Ely, bad bitch. Y'all don't even know about Kanisha Ely. Y'all don't even know about Kanisha Ely. Okay? Just to let y'all know, this is the history. This is what, right? And I'm crying in the lobby or whatever, and so I'm like, why are you crying? And I look up, and it's this really dark skinned man, and he looked mean as shit. And he's saying it like, he's not saying like, why are you crying? He's saying it like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I had these two big ass Afro puffs and shit. He was like, what you crying for? It ain't the end of the world. Get up and stop crying. He was like, you a boxer? I was like, yeah. He was like, okay. He was like, meet me. He was like, meet me down here in the lobby. I'm gonna be doing some pads with some of these fighters. Let me see what you got. I was like, okay. So another friend of mine came out of was there. Sticks, Cynthia Lozano was another fighter back in the day. And I was rooming with her. She let me stay with her. She was actually in the tournament. And I went down to the lobby and everything, and I'm boom, boom, boom. I'm hitting the pads, the boom, boom. And he was like, I hit the pads, and he says, damn, he was like, hit the pads like, he was like, damn. He was like, you ain't as simple as you look. He was like, and I was like, I can fight. I would have won this whole thing. He was like, I believe you. I believe you. Just kind of like saying it like, yeah, whatever bullshit. He was like, you know what? You should come now. You should come over to Vegas. I'll train you if you come to Vegas. I'm having this whole ass conversation. When I'm done, Sticks' coach come to me. He said, you know who that is? I said, no. He was like, that's Roger Mayweather. He was a great world champion. And that was it from then on. Me and Uncle Roger. You know what I'm saying? Not that, I've worked with him out in Vegas, at times, at different times and things like that. He never, and but I had that kind of experience, not hoeing my way or whatever. But these are the things that Sugar has experienced in her boxing lifetime. And that's what, that's the thing. Those are the things I share with you. you know I've been to different places, met many different Julian Jackson. Did y'all know? Okay, trained with Julian Jackson. Like, I can say all of these names. Livingston Bramble. Like, these people, right? Right? So these motherfuckers, these petty bitches out there that just look at my box rec really don't understand that before all of that stuff, right? Before you was paying for bitches' belts, before you had your little spend the night parties, right? People were doing shit. People was in with the shits. You know what I'm saying? Michael Orr says, what do you mean we don't know about the Queen Bee? All right, then. Michael Orr said the Queen, that you said the Queen Bee. All right, let me know that you know a little bit about Kanisha. Michael Orr, super welter, super welter, and out of Norfolk, Virginia. Okay, so yeah, that was my girl. That was my sister. Right? My little big sister, because she was a little bit younger than me, whooping all kinds of ass. She was the Clarissa Shields at the time, the youngest, one of the youngest, and whooping everybody ass at light heavy weight on down. Had a baby and fought the same year she had the damn baby. and won nationals. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. 86 boxing, the Hawk. Yes, Julian Jackson, one of the hardest hitters in boxing history. Yeah, right? He came and worked my corner at one of my fights when I was an amateur. You know what I'm saying? Julian Jackson. And this wasn't for shit and like I had to train like I went through it, right? Um Michael Orr, Kadisha Ely, 3 wins, 4 losses, 1 KO. Last fight was Fredia Gibbs, February 14th, 2003. Fredia Gibbs, right? These are people who y'all don't know. They're not celebrity bitches, but they some of the baddest bitches that ever did it. They made this. They crawled so these hoes can walk. Sorry. They crawled so these fighters now can walk with their back straight, right? So, we got to pay homage and give the due where it's due, right? Because not the uh, people, there were fighters, there were bad broads out here that wasn't that did it before there was a celebrity platform to stand on. And they're just as important, if not more important, than the ones who y'all are fanboying and fangirling now. That's what I have. That's what I have to say. That's why this platform is here. The Natalie Sugar Brown Show. We're going into 3 damn hours. I gotta go to bed, y'all. Michael Orr says heavy hitter. And ain't it somehow somebody took that phrase and made it their brand. But yes, Kanisha Ely was the heavy hitting little baddie back in the day. But I'm gonna wrap this show up. You know what? I had such a good time chatting. That sugar ain't been feeling good lately. I had a headache when it started, and it's sometimes I just have a headache, but I still participate. I'm still game, right? So we had the show. Thank you, R Scarf One. You were showed up. You did what you did. We featured your article like I said we would. Women's Boxing Channel chimed in. Michael Orr came in and we just had it. We was going. Had a great conversation. My host even joined in. Okay? It's a party when we link up. And then guess who else? Guess who else joined the party? All right? And which is a new one, right? But I hope you keep showing up. 86 Boxing. I never seen you around here before. Hey, baby. I like your company, and I like what you had to say in joining into the conversation. Okay, we just have a good little dynamic now, and I love it, and I want us to keep it going. So let's all show up next Wednesday, okay? And talk about women's boxing on the Natalie Sugar Brown Show. And if we don't get together earlier, okay, I want y'all to take care of yourself. Be good. All right. Know that sugar sees you. And I love that light that you shine in my world. You take care of yourself and you keep it going. For my people that chime in on the thread and for those who watch silently from the distance, I like that you're here. I like to see that you're in my views. Like, subscribe, share, comment on what you've heard and what these conversations are. Okay? And don't be shy. R Scarf One says, thank you for letting me chat about my article. It was my pleasure, R Scarf One. Thank you for bringing your article to my platform. 86 Boxing says, hey, your vibe is everything. Love it. Shout out to Scarborough. Oh, you from Scarborough. Okay. All right, my Scarborough. Shout out to Scarborough. Listen, um when I was up there in the Great North, Scarborough was where some of the real racket, real ruckus was going on. All right, yeah, you had some stuff going on in Toronto, but listen, when I went down to Scarborough, listen, okay, I'm just waiting for a champion to come out of Scarborough. Who's that going to be? Y'all tell me, is any baddies coming out of Scarborough? Because everybody want to represent Toronto. Uh, People done deserted us, went to Quebec. It's some fighters that came out of Kitchener. Well, some Kitchener was a kitchen. You know what I'm saying? But listen, I'm waiting for some baddies out of Scarborough. Women's boxing channel says been a great party tonight. It's 10 to 4 here in UK. All right, get some sleep, boo boo. Thanks for burning that midnight oil into the early mornings with your Shug. I love that early morning romping. Um, Women's boxing says bye sugar and gave me three X's. X rated or X kisses? I'll take it. Women's boxing channel says buy all, buy women's boxing channel. And 86 boxing says I'm not from there. Ha, I'm in DC. Okay, but I'm going to a wedding in Toronto this weekend. Okay, well, have fun. Listen, get you, do they still do, get you a Toonie Tuesday next week? If you still sticking around, if you sticking around for the week, please. I miss that. Um, get some poutine. Get some Tim Hortons. Get some of that good Canadian stuff that I definitely haven't had in a little bit of time, okay? Thanks, 86 Boxing. You're in DC, and I love the fact that you're chiming in with me out of DC. I hope to see you more often, baby. I love your vibe too, and I love what you add to my conversation. Um, so far. It's just a good dynamic with all of us from different parts of the world. This is a wonder, like it'll come together. Yes, man. 86 Boxing says bye sugar. It's been great. All right. See you, baby. Have a good night. And Women's Boxing Channel says, see you next Wicked Wednesday. We'll call it that. All right, y'all. Like I said, like, subscribe, share. I'll see y'all next Wednesday. You are wonderful beacons of light in my life, and I enjoy every minute of your time. Thank you for tuning into the Sugar Show. Until then, bye bye.